What's good, everybody? Welcome to Outside the Playbook. With the NBA season right around the corner, I linked up with the eye test to do a 30-team breakdown, going division by division, making our picks for MVP, NBA Finals, and more. But before we get into that, thank you for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell to get notified every time Outside the Playbook drops new content.
He's heating up.
All right, so we'll keep it going with the NBA season preview. Gonna look at the Central Division. There's some teams that's in that rebuilding phase, draft picks and all that. Trying to figure out who's gonna be the next starter. Some teams that's kind of in limbo, either they in the play-in or first round exit in the playoffs. Then you got the Milwaukee Bucks. They landed Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute. We covered it in the Portland preview. We covered it in the Miami preview. We got to see it from Milwaukee's perspective now. But we're going to start with the Chicago Bulls. They go 40-42, 10th in the East. They lost in the play-in to Miami. 24th in offense, 5th in defense. Their key additions are lacking, right? They ended up signing a few guys to extensions, Kobe White, Vucevic. But you pick up Torrey Craig in free agency. You ultimately lose Pat Bev to the Sixers. Are the Bulls going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline?
I think they're going to be sellers, honestly. I think they're going to be sellers because of the fact that I don't know what's going to happen with Lonzo Ball. I mean, I know he's obviously going to be out. I don't know how long in terms of the business, in terms of the company and the organization that they have with him. I know they speak, on one end you speak like you got confidence in the player, but, behind the scenes you do what you got to do. Just looking at the players, it looked like a great fit, but obviously with injuries and everything else that's going on, like they didn't do as well as they thought they would. And I feel like they're going to kind of keep that same core or same 2-3 guys, but then they're going to also like shop around and see what's up.
Okay. I think they don't have a choice but to be sellers. Okay, you have a couple young guys coming in. You have Kobe White that's leading the pack of that group of guys. You have Patrick Williams. In my opinion, you should start rebuilding with those two guys. Not around them, but, trade, get some draft picks, get some young guys in there that's going to play the game the right way. Somebody you can add to the team, and then later on bring in a superstar or draft a potential superstar to that team that's going to take them to that, to that next level. For me, people don't even pay attention to the fact that everybody's talking about Tyler Hero. Certain teams didn't want him in the deal. Certain teams didn't want him, in the blockbuster trade as far as, James Harden, Damian Lillard, and as far as those guys go. But same case can be made for Zach LaVine. There's a couple teams that turned down that deal as well.
Right.
So you got to look at yourself and say, am I that type of player to where a team is going to say we can build a championship around or build a championship team with? If the answer is no, then you got to figure out, okay, how am I going to impact the game other than just scoring 25 points a night? The Detroit Pistons, 17-65. I did have a hot take last year. I said they was going to have a better record than the Cavs.
Right.
That did not happen. They was 15th in the East. They didn't have a playoff scene. They didn't have no playing games. They were 28th in offense, 28th in defense. You can't get much worse than that. All right? They did their job. All right, they were bad enough to get another guy in the draft. They brought in Monty Williams to be the head coach. Now you add in Monte Morris, Joe Harris. I mean, you have a lot of potential with that team. And Cade Cunningham is healthy now.
Yep.
He had a good showing at Team USA runs. They fired Dwayne Casey. All right. How many years will it be before the Pistons are competitive in the Eastern Conference?
I would say 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3?
I would say 2 to 3. The only reason why I say 2 to 3 because I still feel like they need to be stronger in the front court.
Okay.
I think that. I think the back court is kind of settled. I think the 3 is settled. I like the Sword Thompson. Ain't gonna talk about it all the time, but I still think that 4 and that 5. I see hard work. I see potential. But me being from Detroit, I want something a little bit more absent.
Okay, James Wiseman is going to be a big part of that. I think they still got Marvin Bagley. If those two guys can mesh, or one dominates, his minutes, the other one dominates his minutes, they're going to be a competitive team.
Yeah.
One person that they're going to miss a lot, especially with Cade Cunningham coming back to the fold, is Saddiq Bey. Saddiq Bey and Cade Cunningham played off each other very well. I like their complementary pieces to each other. I like that a lot. They let Saddiq Bey go, traded him. Not a fan of that move. So I think the same thing. I'll say maybe 3 years. I'll say 3 years, because I think in that time, Cade Cunningham will be able to put himself in a position to be a perennial all-star. Yeah. So he's gonna be a very, very good talent. I look at him and I think about what Evan Turner should have been, what Michael Carter-Williams should have been when they came in. Same type of players, tall point guards, big bodies, can play defense, can play offense, can score the basketball, facilitate. They play the game the right way, not just because they light-skinned, but they know how to hoop, from that position, being big guard. So I look at 3 years will be the time frame for that.
Yeah.
The Indiana Pacers, 35-47, 11th in the East, no playoffs, no play-in. They were 19th in offense, 26th in defense. Key additions for them is Obi Toppin, Bruce Brown. They let go of Chris Dort. Buddy Hield requested a trade. All right, the team ultimately decided against moving him. Should they be looking to move Miles Turner as well?
Yeah, I think so. He was talking about it previously, right?
Maybe in the last year or two, he asked for a trade. I think it was right before the Sabonis deal.
Okay, and I think it's funny enough. We had a conversation before about the New York Knicks and stuff like that, and I didn't even think of Miles Turner, and I think that he would be a perfect fit for them, to be honest with you. But yeah, in terms of like how everything's going in that direction, like I think it's up, bro.
I think what you have to focus on is the fact that Miles Turner asked to be traded.
Yeah.
Okay. They decide to trade the better player in Sabonis. Granted, they got Halliburton in return, but what if they were able to trade Miles Turner away and still get Halliburton in return? You could have the same thing that the Kings have. An up-and-coming team that knows how to play the basketball game the right way, play at a high level, high intensity, young legs. You got Buddy Hield, you got Mathurin, you got Halliburton. You add in Sabonis to that mixture. This team could scare somebody. I'm not saying, you're not going to beat anybody in the first round, but I'm saying if you get to the play-in, you don't want to face Indiana if they got that lineup. You don't want to play them in the first round. 7th or 8th seed, and their style of play is run and gun. You have Halliburton 20 and 10. You have Sabonis 18, 12, 13, 14 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists. That's a scary thing to deal with, especially with Mathurin now coming into the fold. Buddy Hield, he's going to finish his career as one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time at the clip that he shoots the ball at. So I think it's just not making the right moves at the right time that's going to come back to bite this team. Now we're going to take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, so last year, Cleveland, they go 51-31, 4th in the East. He was actually in MVP discussion. MVP conversations early in the season, 1 and 2 or 3, somewhere in that range.
Right.
They lost in the Eastern Conference first round to the Knicks in 5 games. They go 9th on offense. They're 1st in defense. Number 1 on the defensive side of the ball. So you have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, and you struggle going 4-1 versus the Knicks. They ended up bringing in Georges Niang.
Yeah.
All right. They swiped Max Strus from Miami, and they drafted Monty Bates. All right. He's going to be somebody to watch over the course of his career, especially with Cleveland, the way they play the game. I think that's going to be good for him, especially playing backup to Evan Mobley. They're similar builds as far as that long, athletic, skinny, but they have two different styles. So that's going to come into play for, Imani Bates if he's able to work his way into the lineup and have a role for that team.
Right.
You lose Chetty Osman, you lose Lamar Stevens. Can Donovan Mitchell be the best player on a championship level team? Considering the fact that, again, This man lost to the New York Knicks in the first round in 5 games.
Yeah, I think so. I think he can. I think he's at a point. I think he's at a point where he's trying to figure it out. I think for him coming out the game.
My bad, bro. I don't think you heard me. Can Donovan Mitchell be the best player on a championship caliber team?
I got you. I think so.
Hold on, my bad. Let me cut you off. All right. Can Donovan Mitchell be the best player on the team that's working towards winning the championship?
Yeah.
Can he be that guy? Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, my answer is absolutely. You know what I mean? When it comes to bro, the skill is there. I think is more mental to me. You know, and granted, I'm out of the league, but I just feel like, look, you see what he's capable of. You see what he has to offer in terms of his skill set, in terms of his ability. I think that it's guys like that, and for any guy like that, coming out the gate, how he came out in terms of scoring, and you know what I mean, even with the Jazz and everything like that, puts a different type of expectation on you.
Simply put, he's not a killer. He's not. He's a nice guy. He's gonna play a great game up until the last 4 or 5 minutes. And the thing with Donovan Mitchell is he's gonna keep you in the game, okay? But when it comes down to star versus star, my best player versus your best player, he's going to get outdueled. We've seen it with Jamal Murray, and then we've seen it again with Jalen Brunson. All right, when it matters most, he's not gonna get the last laugh, all right? Whatever he does for the first 44 minutes of the game, it completely goes down the toilet the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game in the playoffs, whatever the reason is. All right, not hitting shots, you know, making bad decisions with the basketball, whether it be pick and roll, whether it be attacking the basket, whether it be, you know, knowing when to take this shot in this situation, accepting the double team, hitting the right guys on, whatever the case is, all of that goes out of the window in the last few minutes of the game. And last season was no different. Now we're gonna talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, okay? Now, they went 58-24, first in the Eastern Conference. They lose in the Eastern Conference first round to the Miami Heat in 5 games. All right. 12th in offense, 4th in defense. All right. Championship aspirations. If I'm not mistaken, they were favorites to win it all. All right. Giannis goes down in game 1. So does Tyler Hero. He misses 1 or 2 games, comes back. They still had a chance. They were leading, you know, double digits in both of the last 4th quarters of that series. Jimmy just outdueled them. Then end of the season comes. Giannis says, you know what? If you guys aren't serious about winning the championship, I got to go somewhere else where they are. They make the deal. They say, wait a minute. You're not going anywhere. All right? They make the deal. They send Drew Holiday to Portland. Portland sends him to Boston. You get Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. Now you have Dame and Giannis. You also bring in Malik Beasley, Jay Crowder, and you hired a new head coach, Adrian Griffin, after firing Mike Budenholzer. Is it championship or bust for the Milwaukee?
No, I don't think so. And the only reason why, I'm gonna be honest with you, everybody, you know, obviously everybody plays every year to win the championship for the most part, stuff like that. But I think Giannis really put it in perspective when he lost last time. It was just like, dude, like, you know, we'll be back next year, you know. So I think that though, you know, he meant it in a certain way in terms of, you know, according to whatever the guy was asking him the question, things of that nature, I still take that into consideration with that. I'm like, okay, they did the necessary moves. I think Dame being there allows him to stay and I don't think they lost too much in terms of defense with Crowder and other people and stuff like that. I think Giannis will still be almost number 1 in terms of getting to the basket, kicking out. They just got to knock those shots down. Those guys got to be prepared. And then now you know that you just got somebody who literally can shoot from half court, regular form. And yeah, so I think it makes them even more scary. I know a lot of people talked about the fact that Drew Holiday in terms of defense, things of that nature. But yeah, I just feel like it's not a championship or bust. But I do think that they're gonna be close, if not make it there, though.
Now, here's my opinion on the whole Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
They're so concerned about losing Drew Holiday for his defense. When a span of 3 days and 2 games, he gave up, what, 108 points? What, 98 points to Jimmy? 56-point game, 42-point game. Drew Holiday is the primary defender. What bringing in Damian Lillard and swapping out Drew Holiday what does is when you're going against a Kevin Durant potentially in the finals, okay? Giannis, you're all KD. You go against the Lakers, Giannis, you guard LeBron. You go against Miami, Giannis, you're on Jimmy Butler. Why? Because you can afford to allow him to expend that level of energy on the defensive side of the ball because you have Damian Lillard, a guy that averaged 32 points a game last season, also dropped a 70-point game last season, one of the best scorers that we've ever seen at his position, and also, no matter how you feel about it, he is a member of the top 75 anniversary team in the NBA history. So you have that type of player, and then you add in the fact that Chris Middleton is going to be allowed to get help. Because look at it last season with Drew Holiday and Giannis, guys were in and out of the lineup. Chris Middleton kind of had to rush back simply because they needed him. They didn't have a choice but to rush him back. He has that time that he needs to get help and not rush back and not feel like he's in any pressure situation to be a closer or have the ball in his hands too much. He can work his way back similar to the way that Klay Thompson worked his way back for Golden State. Come in, knock down open shots. You don't have to be a 3-and-D guy. You're not going to be guarding the best player on the other team right away. You can work your way back in. Dame is going to take pressure off of everybody. And then you also got to factor in that pick and roll with Damian Lillard and Giannis. You have, Brook Lopez in one corner, Chris Middleton in the other. That's going to be a dynamic duo and probably the best dynamic duo specifically based off of the fit for those two players. I think it's championship or bust, not for Milwaukee. I think it is, in a sense, for Dame. All right. Not because, if he doesn't win it, we're going to look at him any different. I think from the perspective of that's the type of pressure that he's looking for. That's the type of pressure he's going to put on himself. It's going to be championship or bust as far as his mentality and approach to the season, because now he has exactly what he's always wanted in his career. Twitter, it was a comment that he made on Twitter a couple years ago. Who would you see yourself pairing up with as a superstar? His answer to that question was Giannis. All-star game. First pick, Giannis took Dame, right? So they've been eyeing each other, eyeing the pairing for a long time now. You get the opportunity, KD and Steph in Golden State, LeBron and D-Wade in Miami. Those are the type of pairings where you can't waste an opportunity to capture that championship right away. But let us know in the comments, is Milwaukee a favorite to win the championship? Is it championship or bust? Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. That's one more for the good guys.
He's eating